So, just how do you look at the game? I mean, you hear about Tale of Two Halves all the
Yeah,
time.
that's literally what it was.
How do you explain that?
Obviously came out in the first half and played good complementary football, right? Offense, defense, special teams, all working together and making plays, and did the exact opposite in the second half. Their first three drives were touchdowns, including a 2-point conversion, and I think offensively our first three drives netted 1 first down and no points, and had a punt faked on us that extended the drive for them. So you can't play that. You can't play 30 minutes of football against a 9-win football team and expect to win. So just outcoached and outplayed in the second half. Really no other way to explain it.
How frustrating were the penalties? It seemed like defensively they kept, haunting you guys, as they were rallying.
Yeah, we had some that were errors of omission that are going to occur during the course of the game, and some that are errors of commission, and definitely within our control. And certainly those two at the end of the game were, out of character for how we've, played throughout the season. But can't have face mask. I mean, all those things. I mean, to extend drives and give additional field position against that explosive of an offense isn't not good.
How do you view this season? I mean, the record's exactly the same as it was last year. Do you see progress in it? How do you view it?
Obviously, from an objective standpoint, we didn't make any progress in the win column. One more win than the 3 years prior, but at the end of the day, as I mentioned to the team in the locker room, 2 straight years with 5 wins or 5 losses by a touchdown or less. 3 in overtime this year, and the point of talking about close games and being competitive and getting to a point where we can win a game in the fourth quarter has got to turn into us winning them, and so we got to figure out a way, coaches and staff and players to not come in here and talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda, because at the end of the day, that's didn't. We got to find a way that did.
I know you were hoping that the win over Kent State could have been that turning point.
Yeah.
Is that still something you can build off, or the 3 games after just kind of put you back at square one?
No, I mean, I think anytime you win the wagon wheel, that's you look at all these rivalry games throughout the country, and I think today or tomorrow's rivalry Saturday, there's going to be a big focus on winning those games. But you go back to the beginning. I mean, you make the field goal against Indiana, and you've just beaten a Big Ten team on the road. So I think there's, as we look back and reflect now that it's over, there's, probably, 10, 12 plays throughout the course of the season where they go in a different direction, and we're sitting here with a bunch more wins and a lot more at stake. But at the end of the day, we didn't improve from last year from a wins and losses standpoint. I think we improved as a football team, but at the end of the day, we got to find a way to win football games.
Do you think you'd be sitting here at the end of your second season in charge here farther along, or did you expect it to be like this?
Well, heading into this season, I wasn't really never quite understood what a year 0 meant. You hear that term, and from my experience as a head coach or coordinator, I've never been around one where you come in and it's so bottomed out that you gotta, you're not looking at that one as year 1. So last year was a year 0, and this year is a year 1 for us. So did I think we would be further along and be able to close out and win some more games this year? Absolutely. So from that standpoint, I definitely thought that we'd be able to. We talked since January about finish because of what happened last year, and once again, first 2 thumbs come at me. We didn't find a way to close out those games in the fourth quarter.
You've been in this business a long time. So
26 years.
So do you think you and administration are on the same page about everything when you talk about year zero, year one, and that you have their support?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't, they knew how difficult this job was going to be when we took it over, and have even talked to our guys about Miami, Ohio, who's playing in the MAC championship game this year, and Coach Martin's first 2 years there, I think we're 1-11 and a 2-10, and he was 0-6 midway through year 3, and then they went on a run, and which Coach Creighton has done at Eastern Michigan. I think that was a 1 or 2 wins for 2 years, and BG had won 2 league games total, I think, in 20 and 21. So, that doesn't guarantee anything for us except a history of teams who have, gone through some of the early struggles and been able to turn it around. I think the difference between that time period and now is that you were able to recruit all your high school players and keep them in your program for 4 or 5 years and really have a sense of culture building and player development and chemistry. And now it's turned into, quite frankly, the exact opposite. So that's why I think the challenge for us heading into year 3 is going to be equally as difficult, because none of the teams in our conference are getting any worse, and you lose half your roster, and you're replacing them with guys who are going to come in for 1 or 2 years, and that makes the recruitment and the development makes it very challenging.
Having said that, I look at your background and I think about it all the time. As a player, everything all the way up.
Yeah.
We all know quarterback's the most important position. I know you had TJ get hurt, but you're playing multiple guys.
Yeah.
How much what you're trying to do here and turn it around is tied to figuring out that position?
Yeah, you got to either have I call them erasers, right? And you look at Toledo, and Finn is an eraser, and they've got guys all throughout that roster, and Coach Candle's done a great job with recruitment and development. And you look at Miami and their defense, and they could take a average or bad play call and figure out a way to make it right. So obviously not having DJ, who had been an eraser for us a little bit, and not having your first team all MAC receiver for essentially healthy the entire season, and and it's not. I mean, it's just not this reality. I mean, everyone has to deal with injuries, but certainly, as you mentioned, usually teams who win this league or have a ton of success have a difference maker at quarterback, or they've got an elite level defense, or a little bit of both.
Do you have? I mean, Taj Bullock is the only one who would be back, right?
Yeah. Well, Taj, and then Steele, and Jank, and Dijon, and Johnny Brookhart, but from a experience standpoint, yes.
Do you think you have the answer here, or do you need to find?
I mean, you're always going to look for the answer if it becomes available, right? Certainly through the portal. But I think we Taj has got a lot of skills that you look for in a quarterback: size, arm strength, athletic ability. He just really lacked a lot of practical experience. So, like everything, season will end. We'll do our player evaluations and player exit meetings, and kind of once we get done with recruiting, once we get done with recruiting, never ends. Kind of evaluate what we did schematically, and figure out who we have, because it's personnel, right? It's plays and performance, right? Figure out if we got the type of players that are capable of playing winning football at this level, then we got to put them in position to be successful with our schemes, and then then when the right play is called, we got to figure out a way to make a play.
How about your coaching staff? Do you expect a lot of continuity, or are you getting
from my decision or their decision?
On your end?
Well, they're evaluated the same way as the players are. So I don't like to make any, knee-jerk emotional reactions as the season ends. Once again, we'll evaluate. I mean, and I'm not. Every part of the program is evaluated, so that includes coaches as well.